Welcome back. Hello to all humans and beyond. I'm just gonna go right into it. So today, as of recording date, I believe it's the 2nd of July. Thursday? Yeah, that makes sense. I have officially been homeless 3 months. I left my apartment end of March. So, March, April, May, June. 3 months now, going on month number 4. Some of the things I've learned, a lot of things I've learned. One of them being, we have a very negative perception of homeless people. I don't know if this is how everyone feels, it's just how I feel. I was raised to fear them, be afraid. I have some kind of innate fear of homeless people. I think we all do. For starters, I've talked about it. Police in the city and stuff like that not actually helping them, they just push them off the street and move them somewhere else. They don't really offer any actual advice or services, or they may be like, oh, there's a shelter over there, I don't know. I don't feel like they really offer much. I could be wrong, maybe there's things that I don't know about. It could just be filtered through my perspective because I couldn't find shit. And all I've had is police officers harass me, so they didn't try to offer shit. They just said, move. But people view you differently. Completely. Like, just shifts their perspective entirely of you. It makes you feel bad, genuine. Like, you genuinely feel bad. And then, you get discriminated, obviously. I mean, I know there are those who are scruffy and can't get showers and just like screwed. The screwed kind, living on the street in the 100-degree weather, hair growing out of everywhere. That's understandable. I mean, it's in a place of business, what do you do? But people like me, because there's a lot of homeless people here I actually see up at the rec center showering more than I thought. So there's the other brand of homeless people who are still able to take care of themselves. They're just homeless. Like, I shower every day. I can. Sometimes the rec center's closed, like it will be on the 4th, and I don't get to shower because that's awesome. But I still take care of myself. I don't stink. I'm not a danger to anybody. But yeah, you still get treated completely differently. Like, one of the places I go to is a library. Because, I mean, it's a public place. You literally go there to hang out. And one of the cashiers was complaining about the homeless people coming in and using the charging station. It's like, you know what? I'm literally just sitting here playing on my phone. Am I hurting anyone? Am I stinking up the place? Am I causing a ruckus? Like, dude, just shut up. You're fine. Yeah, it'll be okay. So you get stuck in this loop. It's already pretty despairing enough. Like I said, I kind of got to a point and realized I was going to be homeless. And I was like, there's nothing I can do. Well, there's nothing I can do to fix it. It's gonna happen. It's choices I made. Unfortunately, I thought I was gonna be able to fix it. By the time it became a problem, it did not happen. Do I regret it? Part of me does, part of me doesn't. I do believe in my choices, I just hated the outcomes. But you get stuck in this loop of despair. I go through it every couple of weeks, actually. I'm still working through it. It's so easy to be sitting here like super negative. You know, I'm never gonna get out of this. It's how it's gonna be forever. Blah 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 blah. And there are definitely days I get through that. And again, this is a harsh topic. Nobody ever wants to hear this, but you gotta talk about it. I have fallen into that loop of despair and wanting to not exist, wanting out of it, feeling like that was the only way. 'Cause right now it's summer. It's difficult. I go to bed some nights it's 85 degrees. That's I'm still figuring out how to keep cool. Let's just go with that. I haven't been able to check in at a hotel in a little while. Been having to use my money for other practical stuff, you know. So you get stuck in this nasty loop of despair, and it just feeds itself and you can't get out, and some people eventually go mad. Most people go to drugs and alcohol to numb themselves and help them cope with it and deal with it. That's why they become druggies. I mean, think of it this way, logically. You get $60. Yeah, I'm gonna get myself a little bit of food. But most people think even if you save up, where do you put it? Like, it's hard to save up when you're homeless. So they decide they just spend it on something else. Immediate dopamine, immediate satisfaction. Something to help them get through the day. Because they're not focused on the future, they're just focused on today. That's why, unfortunately, most people resort to such things. They just don't see a way out of it, so they numb the pain instead. So you get treated like a criminal, and then the mindset sets in and you feel bad about yourself. You feel like a criminal. You feel like a horrible person. So the cities, the society creates this system and then punishes you for not being able to keep up with it. I mean, I used to have the opinion that homeless people kind of did it to themselves. Obviously, that's not correct. Sometimes it just happens. I mean, yeah, again, just like I said, I made a choice that resulted in this. It's not like I went out and blew all my money and all a bunch of crap. No, I just quit a job before I should have, or when I felt like it was right, and I was actually door dashing. I had stuff going and I was trying to find a job, and my apartment increased the rent to a ridiculous amount, made it unfeasible. Like, I did not expect any of that to happen. It was just a simple mistake. And a simple mistake turns into on the streets fighting for survival. Like, I found out, in fact, I feel like part of it, even though it was a decision I made, I feel like it still was kind of unfair. You know? Like I said, I do take it a little personally, because I think the lady below me was feeding them. She worked with the apartments. Because I noticed my rent just raised to a ridiculous amount. But the issue was, they weren't a legal office, so they kind of did whatever they wanted to. I've talked about it in videos before. So I made a choice and then got stuck in a fucked up situation and just became homeless. It's not like I did anything horrible. I made a choice. And because of that choice, now I get treated like lesser than a human sometimes. You know? And again, I feel this for other people. Like, I still get the same reaction. I see other homeless people, I'm like, you know, I want to help them, but giving them $40-50 again helps them just get through the day. It doesn't do much. It helps them survive. But sometimes that's not enough. So we're gonna talk about something, my old coworker showed me a video the other day. We were just chilling. And I already forgot the scientist's name. But it was a video about cannibalism. And I know this is just a weird turn, hard left turn, words. But it was about how a society of cannibalism couldn't exist. Just like inbreeding. You can't, it just structurally doesn't work. I forget exactly why the cannibalism doesn't work, but it's like copy of a copy of a copy. It gets to the point that because they're being malnourished, when they have kids, the kids are born with less nutrients or something like that. So it gets to the point that eating themselves is not sufficient enough. Now, this got really dark really fast, but we'll go with inbreeding instead, because that's a much better topic. Just like European kings, French kings, kings of the Old West, Old East. Anyways, you know what I'm talking about. Royal families used to inbreed to keep the bloodline pure. But unfortunately, that's screwed with their genetics because it's a closed circuit. Systems were meant to change, essentially, but it's a closed circuit. So the way the video explained the cannibalism is in order to succeed and keep it sufficiently running, there had to be an outside source of nutrients. That's why you see videos like or movies like Wrong Turn. I think that was the movie. It's a city of, or a town of cannibalisms, kind of words, who prey on victims from outside, tourists. It's because they need their outside source. Same thing for inbreeding. Inbreeding. Just words, I'm just gonna roll with it. I can't talk today, fuck it. The royal families would end up having mental issues, physical issues, disabilities, just their life expectancy was much shorter. It got to the point that it genetically became a problem. So the point of this gruesome stories was, in order to break something like that, you need an outside source, an outside external help sometimes. Sure, it's great, and to a point you can't really rely on anyone. Just follow me on this. To a certain extent. Sure, it's great to ask for help and want help and need help, because at some point you do need help. It's just, you need help. That's just how it works. Again, you can do everything yourself, you can try your best, but at some point you will need help. I already lost the other train of thought that I was going down, so we'll just keep moving then. You can do everything yourself. Oh, this was the one. But in the end, be self-sufficient. The only one you can truly expect to follow through is yourself. Hopefully. Make yourself to be a person that follows through, and you can rely on yourself no matter what. But it's always helpful and great to accept help outside, because it's to a point it's needed. Because you can't, sometimes there's just some cycles you can't break yourself. It's just, it is how it is. It's just some things you can't do alone. Unless it's a fun lesson I'm learning. We're gonna switch to a lighter topic, like holy crap, this video is so contrasting. An example, I got a job, told you guys it's been about a month or two now at Dairy Queen. It's not exactly what I was hoping for, but I'm eating. Still living in my car. It's not money I can put down on an apartment. In fact, even if I got an apartment, I couldn't afford it with this money. But, building my way back up slowly. And in the process, I actually sold my Pokemon cards. I've sold a lot of stuff that I didn't want to, obviously. I had a nice cushiony little apartment. I had a bunch of cool things I liked. Well, I guess my manager took pity or felt bad. She was actually a friend from high school. Wasn't like a great friend, just a friend. And, she ended up giving me the job because they were desperate enough and I was desperate enough. Well, at some point, her and her husband, they like to collect Pokemon cards currently. And they buy all the crazy boxes and sets and stuff, and they put the money in. And then whenever they complete a set, they sell off the rest of the stock. So they were selling them to coworkers, you know, people at work. And I decided to put some money in. I was going to, at some point. Well, one day, my manager bribed me with Pokemon cards. I used to have 151, and I told her all these stories about the cards that I had to sell. One of my favorite cards, because at some point I was collecting just because I liked them. I wasn't trying to be a scalper at first. I didn't want to make money, I just was collecting cards because I liked them. And this was one of them. The Ancient Mew card. I loved it so much. I love it. It was one of the cards that came out when I was a kid. It was a card that actually came out when I was a kid. It was a release with the first movie. So when I got my hands on one, I'm like, fuck yeah. Well, I sold it for like 30 bucks. Turns out it was actually 100 and something. I go, no, I don't even sold it for 30. I sold it for like 15. I was so angry. The guy completely gypped me. I had no idea. Because I was open and vulnerable. I was honest with the guy. I'm like, man, I'm losing my apartment. I'm selling off all my shit. I need some help. And he only gave me 15. I go back and find the price. I'm like, oh, you fuck. So I sold this crook all of my Pokemon cards. And I was so mad and beat up about it. Well, my manager gave me the first one for free. That Mew card I showed you, she gave it to me. That's a $100 card, just gave it to me. I ain't selling this bitch for nothing. Unless it hits like a $10,000 card where I can put down money and get a brand new car, I ain't selling that fucker. Maybe not even then. But, so 151 set came out. For those who don't collect cards, that was a remake or a revamp of the original set when I was a kid. So, before I lost my apartment, I was buying the sets, collecting them with my friends, lost my job, found a new one, lost my apartment, lost my job, and sold all my cards. Well, one day, my manager bribed me to work a shift I didn't want to work. She's like, alright, look, I have unopened box of 151 cards. They're yours if you come in. That's, again, $100 to $200 value. It's like, fuck it, I will. Fuck yeah, E. I'll do it. So I came in, it was a horrible shift, but it was worth it because the Pokemon cards were awesome. And then from that point forward, I was buying off some of the packs, she was just giving me some of them. And got to a point, I have a pretty respectable collection now. And it's one of the lessons I'm learning too, is how to budget properly, because I'm allowed to have fun. I'm allowed to have things that I like. Like, it's nice actually recollecting the set. It makes me feel good again. Some sense of stability. Of normalcy. Being restored to my life. Replacing what I lost, almost. It's kind of like a sense of righting the wrongs. But that made me feel better. It helped me get out of my funk. It helped me stop spiraling so much, because now I collect Pokemon cards again. It's almost a distraction to a point. Like I said, budgeting, learning how to not F myself over. I'm not over here dropping $200-300 on Pokemon cards. It's fucking ridiculous. If you have the money, it's great. And I honestly am kind of jealous. I wish I had the money just to drop on Pokemon cards. But, in fact, we'll talk about that in a minute. But this was an outside force. It's not, I gotta do everything myself all the time. That's how I felt for the longest time. Because, drama. You let people in, they promise you good stuff, and then they leave you high and dry. They promise to help, they come up short. They promise to be there, and they just aren't. Obviously, it's not pain only I know. It's just something everyone knows. At some point, someone's just completely effed you over. Whether it be a stranger, or a friend, or a family member. So you learn to just stop asking for help. You become hyper independent, and you do everything yourself. But then you break down. And you break down. And you break down. And then people make you feel bad and wonder what's wrong with you. Because you can't keep up in the system that's broken. So you're in a broken system that breaks people. I have not had a partner, a girlfriend, boy, whatever you want to say. I'm straight, consider myself straight. But whatever you want to say, I haven't had a partner or a roommate in... I haven't had a roommate in 10 years. I haven't had a girlfriend in just as long. So I have been by myself for years. Not a sob story, not a boo fucking who, because I've actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed the solitude, I enjoyed being in my own apartment. I actually really enjoyed it. I enjoyed relying on myself. Being all I needed. For a while. And then it got to a point where I needed help. And there was no one there. And then, recently, after losing my apartment, family was able to only help so much, They can toss you a sprinkle here and there, but everyone's suffering. Everyone needs help. So you gotta become self-sufficient, but at the same time accept help and be open. This is making me feel tinglies in my chest. It's a life lesson I've been learning. If you can't break the cycle yourself, because typically, most cycles have to be broken by you. Like I said, I can't go to my manager or buy Pokemon cards every time I'm feeling depressed, It can't turn into an addiction. It can, but I don't want it to. But the act of being able to receive help, restoring something that I lost. Because that's why she gave me the first card. Just out of, whether it's pity or empathy, literally I was looking at her cards. I go, right there. That one right there. That's the one I'm so pissed off I lost. She just, there you go. She's like, fuck yeah. And that healed my heart a little bit. Like I said, that card is $100. I could go right now and sell it for $100, maybe more. I ain't going to, told you that. But I could. I'm learning to receive gifts of gratitude. Because again, it's the fight or flight mode. Some of these cards, I wanted to be a scalper. That was part of the reason I started again. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna gamble with it. I'm gonna buy I don't know what they're called. I'm sorry, I'm still kind of new to it. But I'm gonna buy me a fat pack or something of Pokemon cards, put in $400 and try to start scalping the cards and try to see if I can make money off of that. So while I was collecting, I was trying to scalp the cards and collect the ones that were worth a lot of money. I figured out that is a very hard game to play. If you have the money to put into it, that's great. I don't. I'm just now collecting for personal reasons. I found more value in the cards than the money, is what I'm saying. And I'm going to be using it as a way to socially connect to people too. But yeah. Just It's kind of learning which ones you gotta break yourself. Like I said, certain patterns you gotta break yourself, certain patterns that ironically need outside force, outside people. And being open to accepting the help. Because the old version of me would have been like, no. Why are you trying to give me this $100 card for free? No. No. This time I'm just like, oh, hell yes. Also, that was pretty much the whole message. Just break the cycle. Sometimes you gotta do something different. It's kind of sum it all up. You have to do something new different within yourself or outside your cycle, outside of yourself. Like there are things I do where if I feel myself getting stuck in a rut, I will shift it up. I will instead, maybe I'll go a different direction, or maybe I'll go to a different restaurant, or maybe I'll sleep in a different area. I mean, I don't know. You mix it up. And then breaking cycles within yourself, that's just shadow work, personal stuff. Again, do something in a different way. New perspectives always help. If you have a problem, like you always see in problem solving, TV, or I grew up with very specific TV. And it was always, look at the thing at a different perspective. And it was always the kid hanging upside down from a chair, and they're like, well, that looks weird. And then, you know, they get this idea and do all this crazy stuff. And then finally, if it's not something either of those can solve, maybe you find out it's actually something you might need. Not necessarily use other people, but might need an external force to kind of break the cycle. Whether it is actually a person providing an act of kindness, or a partner who doesn't trigger you, you know. Some healing does require people. Anyways, on the positive note, it's kind of if you're still this far into the video. If you guys want, I thought about it since I'm collecting Pokemon again. I might actually have a whole separate playlist of Pokemon cards if you want. I will show off my collection. I have 2 binders, mostly full. One of them is pretty much full. I will have a whole episode where, again, I'm not going to go crazy and drop a ton of money onto it, because I'm not making money off YouTube, you know. Any money I put into YouTube, any money I put into Pokemon or anything, it's all mine. So, I don't exactly have the cash to go drop $200 on a fat pack. I'd love to, at some point. But for now, I could buy like a couple of packs here and there every paycheck and just rip them and record a couple videos, start up some Pokemon stuff on this one, and then show my collection off one day or something. If that's something you want, like, comment, let me know. I might just do it anyways, whether people, you know, want it. Because it's there for the people who want it, it's there for those who don't. Whatever. This one definitely felt like a message. I felt like a weight's off my chest, or it's moving at least. It's been really tough, you know. I don't like being judged. Nobody likes being judged. I literally haven't done shit. I don't steal. I don't lie. Well, okay, everyone white lies. Hopefully not, but yeah, you get treated like just crap, dude. What's wrong with this country? Makes a system that's broken, breaks you, and then punishes you for being broken. Whatever, guys. I gotta be getting ready for work. Hopefully fairly soon I'm gonna start up tarot cards again, too. I'm gonna start doing readings. I know some of my decks have been wanting me to, actually. And again, that just sounds weird to say to some people. They're just like, what do you mean? I've been getting a calling to do readings with certain decks. I've just been really putting them off. Shame on me. So, it's just I really don't have a space to do it. It's hot in my car. I don't want to sit here with my AC on all the time. It's just expensive. Anyways, y'all have a great day. I'm done ranting. I'm done